extroverts in the house, this video is for you. Have you been wondering, like me, how to balance being an extrovert and being a Christian? Now, the most popular ones we have when it comes to the character or temperament, we have extroverts, introverts, and ambiverts. So I'm not going to tell you what extroverts are, because if you're an extrovert, you probably know. If you're like me, you're an extrovert, right? Even though some people say sometimes you can be an ambivert. This video is going to address how to balance being an extrovert and being a Christian. One of the downsides for me about being an extrovert is that you want to be everywhere. You want to be very vocal. You want to get into a place and people will notice you, and you want to like always make your mark. And then I'm like, okay, how do you balance this? Being somebody who wants to get into a space and talk, be vocal, and make a mark, and then being a Christian who is supposed to be meek, watch your words, try to comport yourself, and all of that. I don't know if you, an extrovert watching this video, has had questions like that, like me. And over time, I've thought that, okay, you know what, Mary, I'm just going to be gentle. And at times where I've tried to be gentle, I get people walk up to me, Mary, are you okay? Mary, are you sick? Mary, are you fine? And the honest truth is, I'm okay. I'm not sick. I'm not fine. But I'm also not living the truth, because I am trying to shrink into somebody that I am not. So I took my time to say, okay, who in the scripture might fit into the kind of dilemma I have? And yes, you guessed right, Peter. Peter was boom, boom, boom everywhere. He was one of the first disciples that Jesus called. And he was so sure of himself that even when Jesus told him that you're going to deny me, he was like, nah, fam, I can't do that. We all know how that ended. So how do we balance being a Christian and being an extrovert? I'm just going to share a few things that I think has worked for me. Now, when it comes to being vocal, I think that before I speak, many times I try to weigh my words. Proverbs chapter 15 or 16 talks about us weighing our words very well, weighing our speech very well. As extroverts, we have that tendency to just want to say things as it comes to our mind. So one of the things that will help you as a Christian extrovert is that you want to take your time, weigh your words before you speak, and be sure that they are words that glorify God. Another thing that has helped me about being an extrovert is try as much as possible not to go to where you're not invited, because you would have that tendency to want to downplay every other person. People tend to love extrovert because you are free, you are outgoing, you are easy to chat with. But then there's someone else in the room who is also looking for that kind of attention, but is not able to body all the expressions that you body. So it will do you a lot of good. As a Christian extrovert, where you're not invited to, try not to go there, because you most likely just go there and outshine another person. Now, am I saying don't be expressive or don't go for outings and all of that? No, I'm just saying it reduces the chances of you going somewhere and trying to just overshadow and, water down another person's shine. Another thing I would say can help a Christian extrovert is to learn to associate with introverts, maybe. Sometimes I just look at introverts and I'm like, oh, I envy the grace that you carry, that you can just sit and you're like prim and proper. I'm already thinking about a lot of scenarios in my head. I'm already thinking, okay, when this person walks in, this is what I want to say, this is what I want to do, and all of that. So I think that when you move with people who are introverts, it just helps you to sometimes calm down. My husband is, I won't call him an extrovert. I won't say he's an introvert. Well, he's a calmer version of maybe an ambivert, maybe. But being with him has helped me a lot to chill, like just calm down. Sometimes you don't have to be like everywhere and express like what is in your mind. A scripture that comes to mind strongly with regards to trying to watch what we say, especially as Christian extrovert, is 1 Timothy 4:12. Now, especially for young people, the scripture says in 1 Timothy 4:12, let no man look down on you because you're young, but set yourself as an example to believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. So when next you are tempted to show that extra side of being an extrovert, look at it. Is this thing pure? Am I being an example in speech? Am I being an example in love? Am I being an example in purity? Lastly, as a Christian extrovert, one other thing that would really, really help you is to try to write things down. Now, one thing I know for extroverts, and I'm a living testimony, is that we tend to want to do things on the top of our head. So in that situation, you could make really, really, really brash decisions. I remember the clash that Paul and Peter had in the scriptures. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, that sounds more like Peter, and everything. So when you write things down, or when you try to articulate your thoughts or your words written down, and you go over and over, even plans, it doesn't have to be what you want to say. It could be plans, it could be maybe a state of action that you want to take, whatever it is, write it down, articulate those things and put them in words. Read it over and over and over and over again. If possible, sleep over it. It would help you to tone down on maybe the way you could have presented it, or the way that you could have communicated it. It's not a sin to be a Christian and be an extrovert. I think that extroverts add spice to the world, because if what we only had were introverts, or more, it would have been an amazing world, right? But then being an extrovert and still being in line with what God has planned for you is very important. So while you enjoy the gift of being an extrovert, please make sure that you stay in line with your identity as a Christian.